In pro wrestling, professional isn't just half the name. It's the part that keeps you from getting your jaw realigned on live TV. Being professional means knowing when to sell, when to make your comeback, and when to keep your ego out of the damn ring. You're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting your dance partner, the match, and the facade that wrestling isn't two grown adults rehearsing violence and spandex. The moment you stop being professional, you stop being a worker, and start being a liability. And that's how the illusion is shattered, or worse, someone gets hurt. I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling. Let's take a look at 7 more wrestlers who were unprofessional jerks in the ring. Number 1, Legion of Doomed. SummerSlam 1992 wasn't just a showcase of wrestling, it was a masterclass in how not to handle backstage drama. Enter Hawk of the Legion of Doom, whose performance that night was less Road Warrior and more Roadkill. According to Bret Hart's autobiography, My Real Life in the Cartoon World of Pro Wrestling, Hawk openly took 3 sedative hypnotic pills in front of him before the match, leading to him being barely conscious during the bout. I was amazed to see Hawk, who was nearly out on his feet, climb onto a rented Harley Davidson and wobble all the way out to the ring, behind Animal and their manager Paul Ellering, who were also on bikes. Not that this should be recognized as some kind of amazing feat in itself, but the truth is that it was. Considering that he was barely conscious from bell to bell, the fact that Hawk, with the help of his opponents Mike Rotundo and Ted DiBiase and of Animal, somehow had a match, is a testament to all of them. Adding fuel to the fire was Jacques Rougeau, known for his candidness, remarking that Hawk was messed up during the event. This candid observation underscores the backstage concerns regarding Hawk's state. But chaos didn't end there. Hawk was reportedly furious about the Rocco gimmick, a ventriloquist dummy introduced as the LOD's new mascot. He felt it was ridiculous and an insulting addition to their act. And well, he wasn't wrong. In the aftermath, Hawk's frustrations boiled over, contributing to his decision to leave the WWE shortly after SummerSlam. With this knowledge, maybe that storyline when the LOD returned, the one where Hawk's substance abuse issues affected his in-ring work, you just know that was Vince getting the last laugh. Number 2, That Doesn't Work For Me, Hunter. Heading into WrestleMania 12, the WWE was in desperate need of some star power. Razor Ramon had been suspended and was believed to be heading to WCW, and it was believed that Kevin Nash, whose character was on the ropes due to a failed title run, wouldn't be far behind. So, Vince McMahon did what all promoters did when they were desperate in the 90s. He backed a Brinks truck up to the Ultimate Warrior's house. Surely this time it'll work, right? Right? And the Warriors' big WrestleMania 12 return match was electric on paper. The Ultimate Warrior back in the mix. You got the debut of Sable, buzz everywhere, but what happened in the ring and backstage turned it into a cautionary tale of ego over execution. You see, the match was against a young up-and-comer known as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Then he was a Connecticut blue blood. He wasn't that high on the card, but he was definitely someone that the WWE had high hopes for. I mean, he won the first hog pen match, so they obviously believed in the guy. Match was designed to give Hunter some offense, but then the power of Destrucity would pin him to the mat. But the Warrior had a different idea. He said in no uncertain terms that he was going to run through the future King of Kings like a bean burrito. The Warrior no-sell moment wasn't part of the plan, and it humiliated the younger talent. Jim Cornette later tore into Warrior during his Cornette's Drive-Thru podcast. It was not specifically booked that way for him to just emasculate Triple H. Triple H was his opponent, so he could get a win on a pay-per-view in a special attraction match. Returning legend beat some guy on the roster that's an upcoming star, but he's not a main event guy. Wasn't supposed to be a big draw match. The draw was the return of the Ultimate Warrior, but we didn't say no, you need to beat this guy with no offense and treat him like a piece of shit. That was the Ultimate Warrior because that was what he did, because it was all about him. Backstage, Vince McMahon was reportedly furious. He'd backed the return as a big spectacle, but Warrior's refusal to follow the script left creative scrambling and a rising star Triple H looking very weak. But seeing the Warriors past, we're not sure why the company expected anything different. Number 3, The Tooth Hurts. Michael Cole's WrestleMania match against Jerry the King of Subtlety Lawler is generally considered to be one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. It was long, it was boring, and the wrong person won. It was so bad, in fact, that then WWE owner Vince McMahon reportedly said that is the worst thing I've ever witnessed in 60 years. And on one hand, yeah, dude, he is right. But on the other, come on, you booked it, dummy. But poor Michael Cole's trouble started long before that train wreck of a match. While rehearsing with Lawler earlier that day, then WWE Champion CM Punk, in a moment of unprovoked enthusiasm, delivered a knee lift that sent one of Cole's front teeth flying. On WWE's After the Bell, Cole would say, CM Punk, for some reason, comes running across the ring and he delivers a knee lift that knocks my front tooth out. This is like 4 hours before my WrestleMania match. My tooth goes flying. Punk is telling me, oh my God, I'll pay for the dental work. I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into me. I was just goofing around. And I'm like, not worried about my dental work. I'm about to lose the biggest payday of my career because he knocked my tooth out. So yeah, maybe this is a loose fitting of our definition of being unprofessional in the ring, but I'd say knocking a relatively untrained person's tooth out because you're goofing around checks most of those boxes. But the day's toothy tribulations didn't end there. During the actual match, Lawler executed a missile dropkick that liberated Cole's remaining front tooth. Cole, now a two-time dental casualty, continued the match, embodying the spirit of a true professional. And yeah, at least he got that payday. But you know, having to watch that match, I felt like we, the audience, paid the higher price. Number 4, Punk Move. Everyone was excited when CM Punk and Bobby Fish were slated to square off in the October 27th, 2021 episode of Dynamite, but there was no doubt what the finish would be. CM Punk was a top guy, and Bobby Fish, at his best, was the 4th most interesting member of the Undisputed Era. Surely it'd be a GTS and a victory for the voice of the voiceless. Instead, what we got was Fish twitching up as the referee counted 3. Match ends, Punk wins, crowd murmurs. Some folks think it was a botch. Fish says it was intentional, but he did it because he thought Punk wanted him to kick out. You see, sometimes during the pinfall, a wrestler will squeeze his opponent to say thank you for doing the honors. Heck, sometimes they literally just say thanks. Fish would tell Wrestling Headlines, in that moment I know for myself, like I had to make a split-second decision. I couldn't weigh out, this or that. I had to either kick out or not kick out or lose the moment forever, so I kicked out and it was whatever it was. Okay, so, an innocent mistake, no big. But then later in an interview with NBC Sports, he'd go on to light up Punk saying, Phil was frankly, as a martial artist, I went out and laid my shoulders down for you. You should be grateful that I did because on national TV, I decided that I didn't want to fucking haku your ass. I could have because you're that little of a threat in my world. I'm not John Jones or Anderson Silva, but I've been doing martial arts long enough to where I can hold you like a wet nap, Phil Brooks. For you to be after for a mistake you made doesn't wear well. Now, some in the locker room were shook. Dax Harwood piped up saying, I've had many pins, I've had the squeeze means thank you. He thinks that Fish was taught differently, but what Fish did with his late kickout felt like a statement. In the end, Punk still got the win, but that 3-second kickout turned what should have been a clean finish into kind of a middle finger. It's tough to say who's in the right here. It's odd that someone at Fish's level would think he was intended to kick out of a main eventer's finisher, but it's also not terribly rare for CM Punk to rub someone the wrong way. Now, before we move on, if you're enjoying this video, please do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop kick that notification bell. Number 5, Speeding Beating. This one's probably the least shocking entry on the list because when you hear Bob Holly beat someone up, you don't go, really? You go, yeah, that checks out. The man wasn't called hardcore because it sounded cool. It was because he treated every rookie like a crash test dummy. Now, back in 2004, Holly decided to turn a normal tag team match into an episode of Cops. The story goes that Rene Dupree borrowed Holly's rental car, got a parking ticket, and forgot to tell him about it, or maybe threw the ticket away, either way. Holly found out, and suddenly that night's match in Syracuse became a crime scene. According to Kurt Angle, Holly ditched the script faster than the WWE dropped John Cena's heel turn. He grabbed a chair, smashed Dupree with it, and then started laying in punches that weren't exactly work. Dupree ended up bleeding and black-eyed, running for his life backstage while Holly chased him like the world's angriest insurance adjuster. Angle said, Rene was blocking the chair shots, Bob ran him backstage to where we were and beat the shit out of him. Which, to be clear, would get you arrested in literally any other business. Vince McMahon was reportedly furious and fined Holly $10,000, but Holly, he just kept on being Bob Holly, a man who used a parking ticket as an excuse for an assault, but honestly, he'd had much dumber excuses for assault. Number 6, Thunderstruck. On September 16, 2020, AEW Dynamite featured a match between Ivelisse and Thunder Rosa for the NWA Women's Championship. What was intended to be a showcase of women's wrestling quickly descended into a chaotic display of unprofessionalism. According to Ivelisse, Rosa failed to adhere to the agreed-upon match plan, leading to a breakdown in their performance. Ivelisse claimed that Rosa didn't want to do anything and forgot key spots that had been rehearsed, including a slap that was meant to be a pivotal moment in the match. Observers noted that Ivelisse appeared to no-sell some of Rosa's moves, further intensifying the situation. My personal favorite being Ivelisse casually fixing her hair after receiving a snapmare and doing nothing to pretend to stop Rosa from applying a full Nelson. The fallout from this incident was significant. Ivelisse was released from AEW in early 2021, alleging that Rosa had been slandering her name within the company. The match serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of professionalism and communication in the wrestling industry. When personal issues spill into the ring, it not only affects the performers, but also the audience's experience. In this case, both Ivelisse and Rosa's actions led to a match that was more memorable for its dysfunction than for its athleticism. Number 7. Suplex Shitty. Haha, WrestleMania 32, the night Dean Ambrose wanted to make history, and Brock Lesnar wanted to make his flight home. Ambrose went into the so-called no-hold-barred street fight with visions of barbed wire bats, flaming tables, and hardcore immortality. He called up legends like Mick Foley and Terry Funk for props, inspiration, and maybe a tetanus shot. But according to Dean himself, Brock didn't want to do any of it. On the Stone Cold podcast, Ambrose would say, "I was pulling teeth to turn that match into something epic." Artistically, Brock didn't want to do anything. Which is a polite way of saying Brock's creative input was, hey, how about 10 suplexes and we call it a night? Ambrose pitched chaos, Brock countered with meh. The result, a street fight that felt more like a slightly rough corporate retreat, minus the PowerPoints and plus a German suplex. After the bell, Ambrose was reportedly pretty pissed off, and who could blame him? He wanted to steal the show. Instead, he got stuck starring in 50 Shades of Beige, the Brock Lesnar story. In the end, Ambrose would have bumped for anything Brock threw at him, but Brock didn't want to throw much. WrestleMania 32 could have been a violent masterpiece. Instead, it was Brock's most dominant win ever, not only over effort itself, but over the fans who had paid to see a war. Well, there's our list. Can you think of any other wrestlers who were unprofessional jerks in the ring? If so, please let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop kick that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.